All right. Welcome back, fellow nerds. Welcome to the Nerd Talk podcast. I'm your host, Remington Keyes, bringing you the best in geek culture, fandom drama, and all the hot takes you didn't know you needed. Today, we're diving into the deep end of YouTube controversy and Power Ranger fandom drama. My guest is someone who is no stranger to stirring up conversations and, let's be real, some heated debates. You've probably seen him making waves on the Henry Resilient channel, where he's been at the center of some serious buzz, whether it's sparring with JDF's assistant Francis or clashing with Billy the Blue Power Ranger himself. That's right, I'm talking about none other than Brent Pham. Welcome to the show.
All right, thank you.
I got to say, the internet seems to really love you or hate you or just can't stop watching you. How do you feel about all the attention you're getting from these controversies?
I really don't look to get quote unquote clout. People accuse me of clout chasing, like the looking for clicks. That's not really what I was looking for. I mean, I'm looking to uh oppose what things that Francis says, for example. I'm looking to let my viewpoint known. So sure, I'm looking for attention in that way, but I'm not really looking for. I don't really care if Henry's videos get 0 views or however many. That's not really my focus. I don't really look for that attention. If it's good attention, I like it. If it's bad attention, I don't like it. But it's not like I'm going to complain about it. So that's how I act. So.
How did you first get involved with Henry's channel? Was there a specific moment or story that pulled you into the spotlight?
So, let me try to remember. So he was doing like the JDF, like the investigating stuff, and I personally just he said some stuff about like he made some speculation about like what happened with JDF and stuff, and I disagreed with some of it. So I just went on and talked to Henry. He told me to cam up. I was like, sure, whatever, and then that's how it all started.
I found I think I found out about you because of the stuff with the Blue Ranger, the Comic Con drama, and I was kind of on the fence with that because I've had bad interactions with him at conventions as well, and I was
Mhm.
kind of seeing where you were getting at, but I
Right.
think you were taking the wrong approach with how you were telling your story, and it was making yourself look worse than the actual. It was putting yourself in a light that you shouldn't have been in, if that makes sense.
I could see why people would think that. Like, I try to I don't know, like bring attention to it, and that doesn't make it look the best. But it's kind of like I now have the actual the record that he forced me to delete, so people can make a de decision for themselves. Did Brent deserve that treatment or not? Because I understand there's like a gray area. Maybe Brent did something so inappropriate that he quote unquote deserved it, but people can now make that decision for themselves if I deserve that treatment. I did ask him for permission, and he did agree to discuss the stuff we discussed. I didn't
Right,
ever force him or anything. Yeah. And then
right.
people might think that.
No, I'm just agreeing with you because you pay for a service, you expect something out of it, and like whether later on he feels differently about it, he could have approached you differently too and gone, "Hey man, I don't feel comfortable with the kind of stuff I was saying. You think we could work something out? Instead of calling security on you."
Right, right. And that's the issue because I would have deleted it because I'm not um even though I do Henry would have told me he would have kept the video because it's quote unquote content. If they felt that uncomfortable, if he gave me a refund, I would have done it. No question. Like because I'm if they feel because I liked his character. I spent a lot of money. You'll see in the video there's all the signatures I got from him. And
Hmm.
because I liked his character and it's not like I hate him or anything, but it's just that he apparently he felt so entitled to for him to treat me that way. And if he would just ask me, please delete the video, I'll give you a refund. I would have done it. And this wouldn't even be a story, but he chose to be not so nice. And I spoke with the security and they said that David ordered them to act the way they did. Now I don't know the details of that. I wasn't there for their private conversations, but that's what they told me. So,
And it seems like he's not the only ranger that's got a history of this kind of acting inappropriately towards fans at these conventions. As we've seen in recent past with Walter Jones and Jason, or call him Jason, but it was Austin St. John. You know, these people don't have like, I don't know if it's like the right training on how to interact with some of these situations, or they just it's the ego that they think they're bigger than they really are. I don't know.
I'm not familiar with. I heard about the Walter situation with the jacket. I'm not really familiar with what Austin did with it. Was it with a fan or what was that? I'm not really familiar.
I just know people have had some negative interactions with him at conventions.
Ah, okay.
You know what I
I
mean?
mean, I've had negative interaction with other people like Mario Lopez just signed something, just toss it to me. I mean, these type of things it's expected, but what David did, it crossed the line because he took something, he used intimidation, he abused his power, to take away something that I paid for. Now, we could argue about like the other situation, like with Austin or with Karen, these negative interactions. It's kind of like you just kind of brush it off. You just don't see them again
Yeah.
and you just brush it off. But with David, he crossed the line because he put me in a situation where I was forced to choose between run potentially the situation escalating to possible out of bounds situation, like maybe possible physical. You just don't know. That didn't happen, to be clear, but it's kind of like I chose a situation. I chose a decision to de-escalate, and I shouldn't have been put in that situation. And David put me in that situation, so I think he crossed the line.
How do you feel about the perception that you're a magnet for controversy?
A magnet for controversy, because I stand on what I believe a magnet for, yeah, because I ask the tough questions. Like most people don't, they don't ask, are you represented by Zachary Taylor McGinnis, knowing that he said some very nasty things about Jason David Frank. I don't Most people don't ask those questions directly to the guests because what I try to do is I try to contact the management beforehand before I go to ask the guests themselves. And when I don't hear a response from management, I ask the guests themselves. And I've asked Austin St. John, Barbara Goodson, Daniel Logan, Matthew Wood. A list goes on and on and on. And the only people that seemed to take an issue with it was Steve Cardenas. He's the only one that took issue with it. And
I've had negative interactions with Steve too. When I was doing this show as a radio show in high school, like he had come on as a guest, but he came on drunk and forgot that he even agreed to do the show and got mad that we were calling him. And he's like, "Where'd you get this number?" Da, da, da. It's like, dude, you gave us the number at the convention. You told us it was cool. We set up a time. You know, like I don't know. I would never go see him again. I've never
right,
nothing.
right,
Um,
right.
can you share a little bit what happened between you and Francis? What sparked the conflict, and where do you guys stand now?
Okay, with Frances, this started when Henry asked her a question about Aaron was talking about Legend of the White Dragon, the Black Ranger, Walter,
Hmm.
and Henry asked her, can you speak on JDF not liking the Black Ranger? And Francis said I'm summarizing. I can't say the whole transcript. You have to understand, I can't say the whole transcript. I'm just summarizing here. So basically what she said was um, Walter confronted JDF because JDF was giving out free stuff. It was rough. I appreciated what JDF did because people at conventions don't have money. And she when I asked Walter, I played Walter the entire clip of what she said, and Walter told me that she left out the context that JDF told a fan to go to Walter's booth and get his autograph for free. And you could say that it's a prank, whatever you want, but I've had this conversation with people at cons themselves, and they say that that type of behavior it's inappropriate because people are at conventions to make money, and to put up your fellow former co-stars in that situation, it's not right because they shouldn't have to explain themselves because you just chose to mm, do a quote unquote prank. So that was one issue. And then she decided to release a recording apparently that nobody asked for. Something about $1,500, like and then when he received that recording, he didn't Francis didn't want to release the whole recording.
Hmm.
He only released the parts where like the partial context, and he started going online saying that JDF gave Walter $1,500 so he would stop talking, so Walter would stop talking shit about him, and the money was for Walter's guarantee. And I played this clip to Walter himself, the entire video, at the time when there was no recording available, and he said that's not true. It was for Zachary Taylor McGinnis. And then I relayed this message. I didn't know who was telling the truth at the time, so
Yeah.
I went on Henry's channel and with Francis always on there, and I said maybe there's a possibility that money was for Zach. And then Henry was like, I only present the facts and people can make their own decisions. And but the problem with that is that when you don't present the whole context, the whole recording, how can people make a correct decision for themselves as to what happened? And he knew, and apparently Francis knew this entire time that during that interaction that the money was for Zach because she did an interview. She went on Henry's channel last month and said that it was clear from the beginning the money was for Zach. But she never said anything, mentioned anything about Zach. Whenever I would pose a question about what the money could be for Zach, she'd be like, "You wouldn't believe me if I said something." But the thing with Francis, it doesn't matter what I believe or don't believe. What matters is what truly happened. And you had the recording with the entire recording, and you knew the money was for Zach. How come you sat there and let Henry push a narrative that the money was for Walter or the money was for Walter's guarantee? And Walter took huge issue with this, his agent as well, because it's kind of like this information is not available to the public. It's only available to Francis, people that were in the inner circle. And for
Right.
her to start spreading this information, it should I feel it's not right, and it's totally inappropriate, quite frankly, because
Now,
that's how
but
I
do,
feel about it.
now, but do you think you're stepping out of line by making it a beef between you and Francis?
What do you mean, beef between me and Francis?
Yeah, because it always seems like y'all are beefing in these live streams and stuff. And it seems like if that's where the starting point is, do you think it's taking it a step out of line by dragging it on further and further?
Well, she's the one that goes went to New York. Henry made that video. Walt Francis confronts or something. Walter does at New York Comic Con. She quote unquote cleared the air,
Yeah.
and that is and then she claims that I never said the money was always for Zach, even though that narrative was never mentioned in previous videos. And Henry's channel is about facts over feelings and holding Power Rangers accountable. And I appreciate the work that he does, but it has to be based on facts, not based off of either out of context information or flat out lies.
Well, I agree to that, but it's also an entertainment channel. So he's gonna
Mhm.
do what's gonna be best for the entertainment while, you know, I don't want to say that he hides certain things, but he's gonna do what's entertainment first. What's gonna
I
bring.
understand that, but you have to get if you want to do that, I totally get that, but you have to get the if the money was for Zach, you cannot mislead the people to believe that the money was for Walter. Because I go to these cons and I hear the stuff. I'm in line and I hear the talking points that Henry mentioned on his channel. I hear it while I'm waiting in line. So his channel is growing because there's Power Rangers are responding to him not because they want to. Like Hector David Jr., he's responding
Yeah,
to Henry Resilient because not because he wants. You think Hector? Do you think he wants to? No, but he's what I'm speculating is that he's getting advice that you're in deep shit.
yeah,
I'm talking about Hector, but you either stay silent and you let this Henry guy run, or you speak out against him and push a narrative that maybe that you're quote unquote real and that you're opposing what Henry's saying and to push a narrative against what Henry's saying. So his channel is growing and Henry needs to get the facts right because if he's allowed to have his opinions. I've said this before. He's allowed to push a narrative, whatever narrative he wants to push, but he needs to get the facts right. And by saying that the money was for Walter's guarantee, that's frankly, that's a lie. That's not true. And the question becomes, did he know when he had that entire recording from Francis, did he know that the money was for Zach from the beginning? Or did Francis leave out certain parts where Henry wouldn't be able to make an accurate conclusion. That's the issue I have. Is he's allowed to have he's allowed to joke around, make the memes. He's allowed to put my Photoshop my face. He's allowed to do all of that. That's part of social media, but he has a responsibility to be accurate in what he's saying, facts over feelings. So that's my response to that.
Now, Henry Resilient is known for digging into hot topics and internet controversies. What's it like being part of such a platform, and how do you handle the public scrutiny that comes along with it?
Oh, I mean, this I understand that social media, there's going to be people that have differing opinions. You can't this you not everyone's going to agree with you, and they have more free because you're not in person. I've noticed that people are more free to express their thoughts because you don't have to face the in-person backlash. And I go into these streams knowing that, and I understand if people don't like what I have to say. That's just part of, again, social media. And when people they say names, all that kind of stuff. It's just part of the territory. So I don't really take it personally, but you know, I don't like it. Sometimes I don't like some of the opinions, but that's just part of social media.
Does the YouTube drama scene add value to fandom communities, or do you feel like it takes away from the positive aspects?
It's not so the positivity. I mean, people need to know the drama because they're like Zachary Taylor McGinnis, for example. There are people that when they found out, they wanted to walk off from convention, like Tom Kenny, for example. People didn't know whether he was booked by Zach or not, whether Zach was representing him, and they threatened to leave the
Hmm.
convention if um, he was supported. Tom Kenny was supported by Zachary Taylor McGinnis. Um, People pay attention to the drama. Like I'm getting messages, people saying they'll no longer support David Yost because of what he did. People pay attention. Now, do I believe that people will get canceled because of the drama? No, I don't. But people they do pay attention. They watch the drama, and whether it's positive or not, it's not really that relevant because if that's what's going to deter you from being a fan, then maybe you weren't really a fan. Because if you're a fan of something, some little drama is not going to deter you from being a fan. That's not how it works. But it might deter you from being supporting a certain actor or actress.
Do you feel there are misconceptions about you as a person or your intentions with these public disputes on his channel?
Misconceptions.
Or about your, or like misconceptions about your intentions in these debates, or you as a person?
I don't think it's a misconception. I think it's how do I put it? It's intentional um ignorance. Let's just put it that way. Like
Well,
Henry when
ignorance could be considered a misconception.
right. But like when they misinterpret my intentions on like when I go on stream, like people accuse me of taking things out of context, for example. That's just one example. Because they question my credibility. That's just one example. That attack, by the way, Henry knows it's BS. Most people know it's BS because when you take context of a situation, there's two definitions of it. There's one is the like let's say my trip to Ranger Stop Atlanta. The context of that trip involved many things. Where I went to eat, what vendors I looked at, the architecture of the building. There's different contexts that form the my experience at Ranger Stop Atlanta. And whether I mentioned Henry's name or not, he might think that that was justified in my how I was treated. I guess that's fair. But if he tried to use that to discredit what I was saying about me, Steve Cardenas taking issue with me mentioning Galactic Productions and calling security on me, that's not really fair. But he knows this, and um, he used that attack to put doubt into what I was saying. And I know it's for entertainment purposes. I say it's to grow his channel, and then people think they start questioning my credibility. So they start thinking, "Oh, you're saying this for this reason," but no, I'm saying it because it's what happened, and these attacks are BS. And So people might think I'm doing it for a certain reason, but in reality, I'm just reporting what happened because Henry did ask me to talk about that situation. So there are misconceptions, yeah, for sure. But
Despite
it's
the drama, you're clearly passionate about Power Rangers and other fandoms. What drew you to Power Rangers in the first place?
I um they packed so much into like the 20-30 minute. I think it was like 20 minutes. There was like action, there was like and then they would go back to the juice bar and then like then the action and then there would be like the martial arts and it'd be kind of cool to see that like quote unquote normal people doing martial arts the way that they do because most people think only like martial artists could do martial arts, but in reality, people of all walks of life can do it as well. So the fighting, all the monsters, all of it was packed into a short period of time. So that's what really drew me to Power Rangers. And one character in particular, Tui Trang, she just oozed grace and confidence. I really liked her character. So that's what really drew me to Power Rangers.
So you know Shay from Henry's channel. She had asked a couple questions. I don't think we'll get to all the questions, but she wanted to know, um, with tennis being a background of yours, is that something you wanted to do professionally?
No, because that was just the thing for like in college, high school and college. There was no intentions of going pro because it's very difficult. I mean, some people they have famous parents that could get them into the pros in any other sport. I mean, you see it with in the NBA that's going on right now. But yeah, that was never something that I pursued.
She also wanted to know if you think there's a shot we'll get a live action Tangled before a live action Princess and the Frog, and can both be released before Frozen 3.
Frozen 3. Oh, Frozen 3 was hasn't been real. So Tangled, I actually spoke with Zachary Levi. There's not going to be a sequel for Tangled, but she's talking about the live action remake, right?
Yeah, she's
Live
saying,
action.
do you think you'll get one? They'll make one of those before a live action Princess and the Frog.
It's tough to say because I don't know the direction Disney's going. I don't know if Snow White's getting a lot of backlash. We'll see, but hopefully Princess and the Frog and Tangled, were very good movies. So I hopefully they make a live action movie remake of them and they keep to the story and to what the princesses look like. Because I think part of the backlash with the live action remakes is that they're changing they're race swapping and they're changing the story. So I hope with the Princess and the Frog and Tangled, they keep to what the animation, what Tiana, what Rapunzel, what they look like, what they embodied as characters. They don't change the story.
I personally would
That'd be
like to
good.
see a live action Lion King, but with black people,
Oh,
like
like a
like actual physical actors instead of like animated like animals.
right, right.
I think that'd be
Yeah, maybe.
interesting. Um, now you've had a lot of negative experiences with recently at conventions. What's your favorite fan interaction at a convention?
Manage like a fellow Congoer that interacts with me. Is that what you're saying?
That or maybe another actor or some just a positive interaction you've had.
Also, I would say Veronica Taylor she voices the Ash Ketchum from Pokemon. She was
Oh
great.
yeah,
You've seen her,
yeah, I know who
you
she
visit
is.
her as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's great. She's amazing. Like she would do the voices and then she would tell like some stories and she's great and I've met her 3 times and
Hmm.
they were all great interactions. No issues. Also asked her about Zachary Taylor McGinnis and her daughter. She answered like a pro. Like I know who he is. We don't associate with him, and that was the end of it. And there's no security called on me. It's kind of like they understand the fan. They're not divas or anything like that. So she was great for sure.
Now, what's next for you? Are you looking to shift away from the drama and focus on other things? Do you see yourself making your own channel, or do you gonna continue to debate and engage with the haters?
Making a channel, I mean, yes, it's pretty. You could just open your YouTube channel, but it's kind of like to maintain consistent material. It's much harder than make people think it is, and it's not something I'm. And dealing with people, I mean, trying to cater to them, that's not something I'm interested in doing, quite frankly. So Henry is good at that. He knows his audience. He knows how to read the room, and I know how to do that too. But he's willing to adapt based on what brings him views, and I'm not willing to do that. So I feel like me running a channel, it wouldn't be what I would want it to be. So that's not something that I would be interested in. But when it comes to Power Ranger drama or whatever coming on his channel, I'll continue to do that because I feel that no matter how long time has passed or whatever, no, if something's said in passing or whatever, there facts over feelings. The truth matters. You have whatever opinions you want. You could say, you could push whatever narrative you want, but it has to be the truth, because people watch Henry's channel. They watch these YouTube channels and they make con decisions based off of what they see. And it's Henry's channel is important in that aspect. So it's important for him to push information that is accurate.
I got a final question, and this is almost
Sure.
like a troll question. You
Uh-huh.
know, treat it as such. What do you think of Rican Ranger saying he's the new Brent?
I don't know if he said, or he doesn't want to be he said that the new brand. Is that what he said?
He's said it before.
He said it before. Okay. I
He
don't
said
know.
he
I
said that
mean,
they were trying to turn him into the next Brent.
whether that's different from him being I am the new Brent versus they're trying to make me, because one is embracing it, one is like trying to reject it. But either let me say this. I mean, Rican, I mean, I disagree with the stuff he's saying, and he's looking for the attention where I'm not looking for that attention. I've never asked Henry one time to make a video.
Not even a little bit. You come on, you gotta admit you want the attention a little bit because you're constantly coming up.
I want people to pay attention to what I'm saying. That's why I say what I say. Now, do I like the when he posts those clips of me on like the thumbnails? I'm not gonna say I don't like it, because I mean I'm fine with it. It's not like I like it or don't like it, where I'm objecting to it, but it's kind of like I don't really encourage it. But if he wants to do it, that's fine. I don't look for that attention. But Rican seems to want that attention, and he seems to go about it the wrong way. I mean, some of the stuff he says is kind of like he probably felt empowered to say it because maybe the culture of the channel, I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. He's not approaching the same way I am, so he's not the new Brent. I don't know what he's saying about that.
Well, that's all the questions I have today. Do you have any final thoughts for the fans of my show? Do you want any final words that you want to say?
I've seen you're the Nerd Talk podcast, right?
Right.
Yeah, I've seen your comments. Um, I don't know what else I want to say. I mean, I go on that Henry's channel because and to speak my mind, to stay on business. And I know we've had our disagreements, but it's kind of like facts over feelings. You have to be Henry has the message that he pushes on there has to be accurate. And whether it's by mistake or whether he unintentionally missed something, when he misses something, I'm going to call him out on it. And I I'm I've I will choose to do so, continue to do so. And yeah, I mean, and haters gonna hate, and that's their prerogative, and
Listen,
it's part of the fun.
and I'll tell you this interview brings you so much up in my book because I could be real indifferent down the middle with you. Sometimes I hate you, but don't. Sometimes I'm right there with you and agreeing with you. You know, so it's like this brings you so much up in my book, and it's good to kind of get your side of things on certain topics. You know, here
Right,
here instead of like assuming what's going on, you know?
right, right.
And so I'm glad you were able to come on. I'm glad I was able to talk to you one on one and get this, and hopefully people will see this other side of you. You know?
Right, right. Because it's very hard when you go on Henry's channel. When I come, when I'm talking, then I get people like Francis comes up, Drew Danger comes up. It's kind of like, and it's very difficult. And then I know Henry is when when I'm about to say something, he pivot. He's very good at what he does. He's because well, a lot of stuff I say goes against what he's trying to push, and that's okay because
Yeah.
we have our different opinion. He has
Sometimes different opinion is makes for a more entertaining show.
absolutely, and I appreciate. But the thing is, when I'm saying that because it's very hard. He brings me down. He when I'm about to say that he says, but okay, bye bye, or he says like, oh, it's a lover's quarrel. He tries to diffuse the situation, so he doesn't let me speak. It's very difficult for me to speak. So in these type of one-on-ones, it's much easier to speak without interruption, and that's why you're able to hear my side. And whether I didn't care whether you like it or not. So I'm glad that you like what I have to say.
No, definitely. Thank you for coming on. And do you? I don't know if you promote your social media, but let the fans kind of know where they can find you. If not, if you don't promote your social media, they can find you on Henry's channel, right?
Right, right. I don't promote social because that like again, people think I'm looking for clout. No, I don't. I just go on there to say when I object to something, I'm not gonna sit there and say, "Oh," I'm just gonna go up there and say my objection to whatever Francis or Drew or whatever. That's how I'm not looking for clout. That's why I don't even have a YouTube page channel. Like if I'm looking for some sort of clout, I would at least have a YouTube channel of some sort, but I'm not really looking for that. So you can just find me on Henry's channel. I'll probably be there probably 9 out of 10 times. You'll probably see me there. And yeah, if you
Yeah,
want to say something,
you're almost
you
like
go
a
up there.
you're almost like a co-host at this point.
At this point, of course. Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right, I'll catch you later. Thank you for coming
All right,
on.
sure. Thank you. Bye
Bye.
bye.